Welcome back, you're watching Primetime. Azerbaijan has decided to suspend its parliamentary cooperation with the European Parliament, according to a resolution adopted by the Milli Majlis at a plenary session on Friday. Now, the decision halts all areas of engagement between Azerbaijan's parliament and the European Parliament, including participation in the EU-Azerbaijan Parliamentary Cooperation Committee. Under the resolution, Azerbaijan will also initiate procedures to end its membership in the Euronest Parliamentary Assembly. During this process, the Milli Majlis delegation will not take part in Euronest activities. The assistant to the president of Azerbaijan has strongly criticized the European Parliament's latest resolution. Hikmet Hajiev called it a diplomatic disgrace and warned that it could undermine ongoing peace efforts with Armenia. He made the comments during a visit to Hankendi with foreign diplomats. Here's what he had to say.
First, it should be noted that the decisions adopted by the European Parliament have no significance for the Republic of Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan has no obligations towards this institution. Second, the European Parliament, as an institution, does not have a mandate to express positions on such matters. It must be clearly stated, who gave the European Union's parliamentary body the authority to speak about regions or countries outside the EU and comment on their issues in this way? Therefore, this decision has no importance for us. But what does it show? The Republic of Azerbaijan is taking serious steps to ensure lasting peace and security in the region. As you can see, within the Armenia-Azerbaijan normalization process, steps are being taken towards building the economic benefits of peace, and Azerbaijan is contributing significantly to energy security. Despite this, just one day after the visit of the Deputy Prime Minister of Azerbaijan to Armenia, the European Union adopted what can be described as a disgraceful resolution. Those in the European Parliament must understand that they are directly hindering the peace process. Their actions can be seen as destructive, provocative, and as steps that could drag the region back into war and tension. At a time when both Armenia and Azerbaijan are taking steps in line with the spirit of the decisions adopted at the Washington summit, the initiative remains with Azerbaijan, which is advancing the peace agenda. However, it is regrettable that such steps are being taken by the European Parliament. These positions are driven by certain political groups with Azerbaijanophobic and Islamophobic views.
Joining us now from Baku is Ulvia Zulfikar to help us unpack Azerbaijan's decision to suspend parliamentary cooperation with the European Parliament, what's behind this growing political rift, and whether trust between Baku and Brussels can be restored. Ulvia, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on Primetime. Now, Azerbaijan has suspended parliamentary cooperation with the European Parliament. Does this point to a deeper breakdown in the trust between Baku and Brussels?
Hello, good evening. Yes, over the past years, Azerbaijan has repeatedly expressed concern that the European Parliament has moved away from being a neutral platform for dialogue and has instead adopted a politically biased and often confrontational stance. And the latest resolution targeting Azerbaijan is as yet another example of this trend. And it reflects a pattern where complex regional realities are simplified, legal processes are politicized, and narratives are shaped in a way that undermines Azerbaijan's sovereignty and territorial integrity. For instance, the characterization of individuals detained under Azerbaijani law as hostages is seen as a clear distortion of facts and an interference in internal judicial matters. It's important to underline that this crisis is not necessarily with all European countries or even the European Union as a whole, and Azerbaijan continues to maintain constructive bilateral relations with many EU member states. However, the European Parliament as an institution is increasingly perceived in Baku as acting under the influence of lobbying groups and ideological agendas rather than objective analysis. So therefore, the suspension of cooperation signals that trust has indeed been damaged at an institutional level, and Azerbaijan is effectively saying that dialogue cannot continue in its current form if it is based on prejudice rather than partnership.
Well, Baku has long argued that certain European institutions apply a double standard regarding Azerbaijan. Would you say this latest move came as a result of years of accumulated frustration?
Yes, this step can be clearly interpreted as the result of accumulated frustration over many years. And Azerbaijan has consistently pointed out what it sees as selective approaches and double standards in how the European Parliament addresses issues related to the South Caucasus. And for nearly 3 decades during the Armenian occupation of Azerbaijani territories, the European Parliament did not demonstrate the same level of activism or urgency. The destruction of cities, displacements of hundreds of thousands of Azerbaijanis, and widespread humanitarian consequences did not receive proportional attention or strong political condemnation. However, once Azerbaijan restored its territorial integrity, the tone and intensity of criticism from the European Parliament increased significantly. And this contrast forms the core of Azerbaijan's argument about double standards, and its legitimate actions grounded in international law are often portrayed negatively, while violations committed against Azerbaijan in the past were largely overlooked or insufficiently addressed. And moreover, recent resolutions have included elements that Azerbaijan views as not only biased but also politically motivated. And they often rely on narratives promoted by certain interest groups and fail to reflect the broader regional context or Azerbaijan's security concerns. So these resolutions are seen as part of a continuing pattern of prejudice rather than isolated incidents. In this sense, the current decision is not sudden. It's the culmination of a long period of dissatisfaction and perceived injustice.
And with stepping away from the Euronest Parliamentary Assembly, would you say Azerbaijan is closing a diplomatic door or perhaps resetting the terms of engagement?
So Azerbaijan's move should be understood not as closing a diplomatic door, but rather as redefining the framework of engagement. Official Baku is signaling that cooperation cannot continue under conditions where one side consistently adopts accusatory and biased positions. Euronest was originally designed as a platform for dialogue, mutual understanding, and parliamentary cooperation between the EU and Eastern Partnership countries. However, this platform has gradually lost its balance and objectivity, particularly under the influence of the European Parliament's political line. And by stepping away, Azerbaijan is emphasizing that dialogue must be based on equality, mutual respect, and recognition of sovereignty. And the current format no longer meets this criteria. This can therefore be seen as a strategic recalibration, and Azerbaijan is effectively saying that it's open to cooperation, but not to unilateral criticism or politically motivated pressure. It's attempting to shift the relationship from one of perceived asymmetry to one of balanced partnership. And in diplomatic terms, I could say this is less about isolation and more about asserting agency. Azerbaijan is demonstrating that it's prepared to set its own conditions for engagement rather than passively accepting framework which is unfair.
Well, Azerbaijan remains strategically important for Europe's regional connectivity and energy security. Would you say that maybe gives Baku the confidence to push back politically?
Yes, Azerbaijan's growing strategic importance undeniably plays a role in shaping its more confident political posture. Over recent years, Azerbaijan has emerged as a key partner for Europe in energy security, particularly in the context of diversification away from traditional suppliers. The Southern Gas Corridor, along with agreements to increase gas supplies to Europe, has strengthened Azerbaijan's position as a reliable and essential energy partner. At the same time, Azerbaijan is also a critical link in regional connectivity projects, including the Middle Corridor, which connects Europe to Asia. So, genuine partnership should be reflected not only in economic cooperation, but also in political attitudes. It questions the logic of being treated as a strategic partner in energy while simultaneously being subjected to biased criticism in parliamentary structures. However, it's important to note that Azerbaijan's position is not based solely on leverage. Rather, it's rooted in the principle that partnerships should be consistent and mutually respectful across all dimensions: economic, political, and diplomatic. In this sense, Azerbaijan's pushback is not simply about power, but about coherence in international relations. It's calling for a relationship where strategic cooperation is matched by political fairness.
And finally, Olivia, what would you say that Europe needs to change, perhaps, in its approach to rebuild trust and a partnership with Azerbaijan?
Restoring trust will require a shift in approach, particularly within the European Parliament. The first and most important step is to abandon one-sided and politically charged resolutions that do not reflect the reality on the ground. And Europe needs to adopt a more balanced and fact-based approach, taking into account Azerbaijan's legitimate concerns, its legal framework, and the post-conflict realities in the region. This includes respecting Azerbaijan's sovereignty and avoiding language or actions that could be interpreted as interference in internal affairs. Secondly, it's important to differentiate between the positions of the European Parliament and the broader European Union. Many EU member states maintain constructive and pragmatic relations with Azerbaijan, and this positive dynamic could serve as a foundation for rebuilding trust. Europe should focus on supporting long-term stability and cooperation in the South Caucasus rather than contributing to tensions through politicized narratives. And Azerbaijan has repeatedly emphasized its commitment to peace and regional development, and it expects its partners to engage with it on that basis. And yes, a constructive relationship can be rebuilt, but only if it is grounded in mutual respect, equality, and a genuine willingness to move beyond double standards.
Indeed, Olivia, thank you kindly for joining us on Primetime and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you